Hello friends, my name is Mrs. I am working as an assistant teacher in Deccan Education Society's new English school, Ramadan. Today we are going to learn an interesting story from our textbook, A Lesson in a Life from a Beggar. In our earlier lecture, we have already learned the first part, and now in the second part, we are going to reveal the secret of Mina's sudden change and Mina's happiness. So, let's begin with the PPTs. Earlier, we have seen that Meena was working as an LIC officer and she was getting a good amount of salary. But there was one thing about Meena. And what was that thing? That Meena was forever unhappy. She always used to complain about the small things. So she was a very negative person. Nobody used to like talking to her. Nobody used to like her company because of her nature. तिच्या स्वभावामुळे ती कुणाला आवडत नव्हती. So after some time, she got transferred to Mumbai. When she got transferred to Mumbai, after few years, the writer saw her. The writer was on her official visit to Mumbai, and suddenly the writer spotted Meena. Now, the first reaction of writer was to run away from there because the writer doesn't want to meet Meena. But Meena looked at the writer and she came to her. Meena also gave her a nice proposal that you can stay with me tonight and we will chat for few times because old friends are very precious and rare. मागच्या भागामध्ये आपण हे शिकलेलो आहे की मीनाची मुंबईला ट्रान्सफर झाली आणि कालांतराने जेव्हा लेखिका एकदा मुंबईला तिच्या ऑफिसच्या कामासाठी गेली होती तेव्हा तिला अचानक मीना तिथे दिसली. खरं तर लेखिकेची अजिबात इच्छा नव्हती की मीनाशी जाऊन बोलायची, परंतु मीनाने लेखिकेला पाहिलं होतं आणि मीना स्वतःहूनच लेखिकेकडे आली होती. यावेळेस लेखिकेला मीनामध्ये एक फार मोठा बदल दिसला होता आणि तो बदल असा होता की मीना वॉज लुकिंग व्हेरी हॅपी अँड चेअरफुल. आता आपण पुढची जी गोष्ट आहे ती सुरू करूया. आय कुडंट बिलीव्ह इट. वॉज दिस रिअली मीना? I pinched myself hard to be sure it wasn't a dream. But Meena was really standing there, right in front of me, squeezing my hand, smiling, and yes, she did look happy. In the 3 years she had been in Bangalore, I had never once seen her smiling like that. A few strands of grey in her hair reminded me that years had passed. There were a few wrinkles in her face, but the truth was that she looked more attractive than ever before. So in this paragraph, you will see that how Meena was changed. She was looking very happy, she was smiling, and though the years have been passed and though she was looking little older, but still she was looking more attractive than ever before. Now it was not easy for the writer to believe that the friend who the writer has met is Meena, because the earlier Meena was very sad, the earlier Meena was forever unhappy, and the earlier Meena never used to smile. But this Meena has changed. Finally, I managed to say, "No, Meena, I can't stay with you tonight. I have to attend a dinner. Give me your card and I shall keep in touch with you. Promise." Now, when the Meena asked the writer to stay with her, it was not possible to accept this Meena's proposal for the writer because she has to attend one dinner. म्हणजे खरं तर मीनानी लेखिकेला सांगितलं होतं की आपण एकत्र राहूया, खूप वर्षांनी आपण मैत्रिणी भेटलेलो आहोत, तर आपण एक चांगला क्वालिटी टाइम ज्याला आपण म्हणू शकतो तो एकत्र घालूया, गप्पा मारूया, परंतु लेखिकेला हे शक्य नव्हतं. फॉर अ मोमेंट मीना लुक्ड डिसअपॉइंटेड. लेट्स गो अँड हॅव टी ॲट लिस्ट, शी इन्सिस्टेड. बट मीना, इट्स पोरिंग. सो व्हॉट? We shall buy an umbrella and then go to the Grand Hotel. She said, "We won't get a taxi in this rain." I grumbled. "So what? We shall walk." Now, when the writer denied the proposal of Meena, actually Meena was little disappointed. तिला दुःख झालं. But then she asked the writer that at least we can go for a cup of tea. But then the writer said, no, we can't go because it's pouring. Pouring means it was raining. And as we have learned earlier, the writer was not having an umbrella. So, just because there wasn't an umbrella with them, the writer was not interested in going for the tea. But then Meena had a problem. Meena had a solution for this problem. Now, what was Meena's solution? We can buy an umbrella and go to the Grand Hotel. Now, the Meena has found a solution that we don't have umbrella. It's okay. We can buy a new umbrella. आपण नवीन छत्री विकत घेऊ शकतो. म्हणजे ह्याच्यातून तुमच्या लक्षात येतंय मुलांनो की अर्लियर मीना जी होती, आधीची जी मीना होती ती प्रत्येक गोष्टीमध्ये काही ना काहीतरी वाईट शोधून काढायची, की समस्या नसतानाही निर्माण करायची आणि चांगल्या चांगल्या गोष्टींमध्ये पण तिला काहीतरी वाईट दिसायचं. पण आज मात्र खरंच पाऊस पडतो आहे, यांच्याकडे छत्री नाहीये, तर खरं तर परिस्थिती थोडी अवघड आहे. पण या अवघड परिस्थितीमध्ये मीना मात्र खुश आहे आणि तिच्याकडे या अवघड परिस्थितीसाठी सुद्धा एक उपाय आहे की जरी आपल्याकडे छत्री नसेल तरी पण आपण ती विकत घेऊ शकतो. And we won't get a taxi in this rain, I grumbled. Now there was one more problem that the traffic of Mumbai, and especially when it is raining, it is almost impossible to get a taxi. But here also Meena has a solution. So what? We can walk. We shall walk. Means the writer told Meena that okay, we can go for a cup of tea or coffee, but you know that it is pouring and we don't have umbrella. We can buy umbrella, but then we will not get taxi in this rain. But still Meena has said that it's okay, we shall walk. In the earlier paragraph, we have seen that even on a bright sunny day, Meena used to refuse to go for a walk. But today, now it is raining, they don't even have an umbrella and they have to walk a distance, but still Meena is ready to accept all these challenges, and this clearly states that Meena has changed. मीनाच्या या वर्तनावरून आपल्या लक्षात येतोय की मीनामध्ये बदल झालेला आहे. I was very surprised. This wasn't the same Meena I had known. Today, she seemed ready to make any number of adjustments. Now, this was very shocking for the writer because the earlier Meena was not at all like this. Today, Meena has changed a lot and she is ready to make any number of adjustments. म्हणजे साध्या साध्या गोष्टींमध्ये सुद्धा कोणत्याही प्रकारे ती कुठलीही ऍडजस्टमेंट न करणारी मीना आज मात्र प्रत्येक गोष्टी ऍडजस्ट करायला तयार झालेली आहे आणि त्यामुळे लेखिकेला फार मोठा धक्का बसलेला आहे की मीनामध्ये एवढा बदल कसा काय झाला. वी रीच्ड द ग्रँड हॉटेल ड्रेंच्ड. बाय देन द ओनली थॉट इन माय माइंड वॉज टू फाइंड आउट who or what had brought about such a change in the pessimistic Meena I had known. I was quite curious. Now both this friend Meena and writer, they went to the Grand Hotel. They were drenched. Drenched म्हणजे भिजलेले होते आणि तिथे गेल्यानंतर मात्र एकच विचार लेखिकेच्या मनामध्ये होता. And what was that thought? That what has made such a change in Meena's approach or Meena's behavior. अशी काय गोष्ट घडली आहे, काय अशी कोणती घटना घडली की ज्यामुळे मीना एवढी बदललेली आहे की जी कायम दुःखी, नकारात्मक, छोट्या छोट्या गोष्टींकडे तक्रार करणारी मीना आज मात्र खूप आनंदी दिसती आहे. ती कोणत्याही प्रकारचे बदल स्वीकारायला तयार आहे. तर असा अचानक तिच्या वागण्यामध्ये बदल कसा काय झाला हा प्रश्न लेखिकेला पडलाय. टेल मी मीना, is there a Prince Charming who has managed to change you so? Meena was surprised by my question. No, there isn't anyone like that, she said. Then, what's the secret of your energy? I asked, like Tendulkar does in the advertisement. Now, the writer is interested in knowing the fact that what has changed Meena. So the writer asked her that is there any Prince Charming, म्हणजे तुझ्या आयुष्यात कोणी एखादा तरुण उमदा जवान आलेला आहे का, की ज्याच्यामुळे तुझ्यात एवढा बदल झालेला आहे, का अजून काही आहे, अशी कुठली बरं सिक्रेट आहे की ज्यांनी तुझ्या आयुष्यामध्ये एवढा बदल घडवून आणलेला आहे. आणि तुम्हाला माहिती की टीव्हीवर सचिन तेंडुलकरची जाहिरात लागते आणि त्याच्यामध्ये सचिन तेंडुलकर असं म्हणतो की बूस्ट इज द सिक्रेट ऑफ माय एनर्जी. तर असं मस्करीमध्ये लेखिकेने पण विचारलं की ज्याप्रमाणे सचिन तेंडुलकरच्या एनर्जीचं सिक्रेट बूस्ट आहे, तसं तुझ्या एनर्जीचं किंवा तुझ्या या बदलामधलं नेमकं सिक्रेट काय आहे. सो व्हॉट इज द सिक्रेट ऑफ युअर energy? And really the writer is very much interested in understanding the fact that what has changed Meena, like because Meena was very negative and today's Meena is very positive. So what has made this tremendous change in Meena's behavior? She smiled. A beggar changed my life. I was absolutely dumbfounded and she could see it. Now the secret is revealed. Who has changed Meena's life? A beggar changed my life. A beggar is a person who is very poor. Beggar म्हणजे काय विद्यार्थ्यांनो? Beggar म्हणजे एक गरीब रस्त्यावरचा भिकारी आणि त्यांनी मीनाचं आयुष्य बदललंय. ह्या उत्तरावरती लेखिका सुद्धा एकदम स्तब्ध झाली, because this answer was not expected from the writer. It was very shocking for the writer to understand that a beggar has changed Meena's life. आता हे कसं काय झालं हे आता आपण पुढे शिकणार आहोत. Yes, a beggar, she repeated, as if to reassure me. He was old and used to stay in front of my house with his 5-year-old granddaughter. As you know, I was a chronic pessimist. I used to give my leftovers to this beggar every day. Now the Meena has started revealing the secret. Who has changed Meena's behavior or who has changed Meena's life? A beggar has changed. Now the writer is interested in understanding the story of this beggar. And Meena told her that a beggar was living with a 5-year-old his granddaughter in front of Meena's house. Now every day Meena used to give her leftover food to that beggar. म्हणजे तिने सांगितलं की मी जिथे राहायचे किंवा मी जिथे राहते तिथे समोरच एका फुटपाथवर एक गरीब आणि थोडा वयोवृद्ध असा एक भिकारी त्याच्या 5 वर्षाच्या नातीबरोबर राहायचा. आणि तुला तर माहिती आहे की आय वॉज अ क्रॉनिक पेसिमिस्ट, म्हणजे मी खूप जास्त नकारात्मक विचाराची आहे. परंतु रोज रात्री जेवण झाल्यानंतर माझा जो काही उरलेला स्वयंपाक असायचा तो मी या भिकाऱ्याला आणि त्याच्या नातीला द्यायचे, द लेफ्ट ओव्हर फूड. सो एव्हरी डे आफ्टर फिनिशिंग द डिनर मीना यूज टू गिव्ह हर लेफ्ट ओव्हर फूड to that beggar and his granddaughter every day. Now we have activity. Let's turn to the activity. Complete the following table. Now we have already learned this activity in the first lesson also. So the same activity with different utterances. Then what is the secret of your energy? Now who said this? The writer. And to whom? Meena. A beggar changed my life. Meena said to the writer. Tell me, Meena, is there a Prince Charming who has managed to change you so? The writer said to Meena, I am all excited. It's nice to meet old friends. Now Meena has said this to the writer. Let's chat. Again, Meena has said this to the writer. We won't get a taxi in this rain. The writer said to Meena. Now state right or wrong. The author spotted Meena at Bombay's Flora Fountain. Yes, this is a right statement. The beggar and the young girl were playing on the road because there was a lot of traffic. Now wrong. This is a wrong statement. We are going to learn it later. Then at that time I will explain. The scene of the beggar and the girl made Meena peep into her own life. Now this is a right statement. The beggar became Meena's role model. Now this one is also a right statement. It took Meena almost 2 years to put the change into effect. Now this is also a right statement. The writer was very excited to meet Meena. Now, this is a wrong statement because the writer was not at all happy to meet the Meena. Now, all these statements we are going to learn in the next part. Now, see, here's a very beautiful thought for you. Always end the day with a positive thought. No matter how hard things were, tomorrow is a fresh opportunity to make things better. Now, we cannot change the situation, but we can deal with the situation in a right way or with a positive thought. So, this message is given in this good thought. Again, let's turn to the lesson. I never spoke to him, nor did he speak to me. One monsoon day, I looked out of my bedroom window and started cursing the rain. I don't know why I did that, because I wasn't even getting wet. That day, I couldn't give the beggar and his granddaughter their daily quota of leftovers. They went hungry, I'm sure. Now, Meena has started revealing the day. Now, what was the incident? That it was a rainy day and Meena was resting at her home. But just because she was negative, she started cursing the rain. म्हणजे खरं तर पाऊस पडत होता, मीना घरामध्ये होती, पण मीनाच्या पूर्वीच्या स्वभावामुळे तिला प्रत्येक गोष्टीमध्ये दोषच दिसायचा, म्हणून ती विनाकारण पावसाला दोष देऊ लागली. खरं तर असं करण्याचं काहीच कारण नव्हतं, बिकॉज मीना वॉज सेफ ॲट हर होम अँड शी वॉज नॉट ॲट ऑल गेटिंग वेट. ती भिजत सुद्धा नव्हती, ती तिच्या घरामध्ये अतिशय आनंदाने सुखानी होती, तिला पावसाचा कोणताही त्रास होत नव्हता. पण कारण की तिचा स्वभाव हा पूर्वीचा स्वभाव हा कायम निगेटिव्ह असल्यामुळे ती विनाकारण त्या पावसाला दोष देत होती. On that day, she could not give her leftover food to Beggar and his granddaughter. They went hungry, I'm sure. Now, because it was raining outside, Meena, she did not give her leftover food to that beggar and the granddaughter. However, what I saw from my window surprised me. The beggar and the young girl were playing on the road because there was no traffic. They were laughing, clapping, and screaming joyously, as if they were in paradise. Hunger and rain did not matter. Now, when Meena looked outside the window, she saw that the beggar and his granddaughter were very happy. Actually, the Meena had not given them food. So, actually, the real situation was that it was raining outside. The beggar was on the footpath. So the beggar and his granddaughter were getting drenched. Their stomach was empty. They were hungry. But instead of complaining about all these situations, they were laughing, clapping, screaming joyously. ते मस्त खेळत होते, उड्या मारत होते, आनंदानी, अगदी खूप छान ते त्या पावसाला एन्जॉय करत होते. जणू काही ते पॅराडाईजमध्ये म्हणजे स्वर्गामध्ये असल्यासारखे ते अतिशय खुश होते. Hunger and rain did not matter. Means though they were hungry and though it was raining, still they were happy. म्हणजे पावसाचा आणि भुकेचा त्यांच्या आनंदावर कुठेही कोणताही परिणाम झालेला नव्हता. They were totally drenched and totally happy. I envied their zest for life. Now when Meena saw them, they were totally drenched and totally happy. म्हणजे चिंब पावसामध्ये ते भिजलेले होते, पण ते खुश होते. कुठेही त्यांच्या कपाळावरती आठ्या नव्हत्या किंवा कुठेही त्यांच्या चेहऱ्यावरती दुःख नव्हते. ते खूप आनंदी होते. आणि मग मीनाला मात्र त्यांच्याविषयी म्हणजे एन्विड म्हणजे हेवा वाटणे, की तिला त्यांचा हेवा वाटला, की अरे एवढा आनंद यांच्या आयुष्यामध्ये कसा बरा असू शकतो. आता तुम्ही विचार करा की मीना वॉज लिव्हिंग इन अन अपार्टमेंट. Meena was living all alone. She was working as an officer. She was getting good amount of salary. And the beggars, now we can compare the life of Meena and the life of a beggar. The beggar was living on a footpath. So they were the beggar and his granddaughter. They were not having a good shelter. Every day they never used to get a good kind of food because they were beggars. So their life was not safe. Meena's life was safe. But still, Meena was complaining, and beggars, their life was not safe. They were not protected from the sun, rain, and wind. They were not having a proper shelter. Sometimes they even used to leave empty stomach. But still, all these problems never affected their happiness, and so Meena envied them. That scene forced me to look at my own life. I realized I had so many comforts, none of which they had. But they had the most important of all assets, one which I lacked. They knew how to be happy with life as it was. I felt ashamed of myself. I even started to make a list of what I had and what I did not have. I found I had more to be grateful for than most people could imagine. That day, I decided to change my attitude towards life using the beggar as my role model. Now, this incident has changed Meena's life because when she saw happy people like that beggar and his granddaughter, she started making a list. She started looking into herself that she was actually a very happy person. She was entitled with very good things in her life. She was entitled with some of the luxuries of her life, which the beggar and his granddaughter were not having. But the most important thing that the beggar and the granddaughter had, that they were forever happy. आणि मग त्यातून तिला लक्षात आलं की खरं तर तिच्या तुलनेमध्ये त्यांच्याकडे काहीच नव्हतं, परंतु त्यांच्याकडे एक गोष्ट होती की जी मीनानी त्यांच्यापासून शिकली, त्यांच्याकडून शिकली, ती म्हणजे कोणत्याही परिस्थितीमध्ये आनंदी असणं हे किती महत्त्वाचं असतं, ही गोष्ट तिला त्या बेगरनी म्हणजे त्या गरीब भिकाऱ्या वृद्ध माणसानी शिकवलं. आणि त्यानंतर मात्र मीनाने ठरवलं की यानंतर मी माझं आयुष्य बदलणार आहे. मी कधीही माझ्या जीवनाविषयी तक्रार करणार नाही. आफ्टर अ लॉंग पॉज, आय आस्क्ड मीना हाऊ लॉंग इट हॅड टेकन हर टू चेंज. वन्स दिस रिअलायझेशन dawned, she said, "It took me almost 2 years to put the change into effect. Now, nothing matters. I'm always happy. I find happiness in every small thing, in every situation, in every person." Did you give any Guru Dakshina to your Guru? I asked. No. Unfortunately, by the time I understood things, he was dead, but I sponsored his granddaughter to a boarding school as a mark of respect to him. आणि ह्या घटनेनंतर मात्र मीनाचं आयुष्य बदलून गेलं, परंतु लगेचच ते बदललेलं नाहीये. इट टूक 2 years फॉर मीना टू चेंज हर लाईफ. आणि जेव्हा लेखिकेने तिला असं विचारलं की तुझे गुरु म्हणजे आता खरं तर मीनाचे गुरु कोण आहेत या धड्यामध्ये, मीनानी कोणाकडून लेसन ऑफ लाईफ घेतलेला आहे, तर बेगर कडून. तर या गुरुला तू काही दक्षिणा दिलीस का? परंतु मीनाने असं सांगितलं की जोपर्यंत मला हे सगळं समजलं तोपर्यंत खरं तर तो बेगर हा मृत्यू पावलेला होता, परंतु मी त्याच्या नातीला एका चांगल्या बोर्डिंग शाळेमध्ये म्हणजे बोर्डिंग वसतिगृहाच्या शाळेमध्ये पाठवलेला आहे आणि माझा त्याच्याप्रती जो आदर आहे तो मी या रूपाने व्यक्त केलेला आहे. मी त्याच्या नातीचं शिक्षण पूर्ण करायचं ठरवलेलं आहे. म्हणजे बघा मुलांनो की एका बेगरनी मीनाचं आयुष्य बदललेलं आहे. So anybody can be teacher in your life. Not necessary that only school teacher can be your teachers. Your mother can be your teacher. Your father can be your teacher. Your family can be your teacher. Your friends can be your teachers. We learn many good things from the nature. We learn many good things from the people around us and even the things around us. So a beggar was Meena's teacher and he has taught a beautiful lesson of life to Meena. And what was the lesson? And the lesson was to remain happy in all the situation. Now look at this PPT. Happy person is always a healthy person. Now in this picture you can see a very poor boy and a girl, but look at their expressions. They are very happy because they have positive attitude. Now no one is born happy, but everyone is born with ability to create happiness. कोणीही जन्मतः सुखी नसतं मुलांनो, परंतु आपण सुखी राहणं हे आपल्या हातामध्ये असतो. यानंतर आपण पुस्तकातल्या काही ऍक्टिव्हिटीज बघणार आहोत. चूज द करेक्ट अल्टरनेटिव्ह टू कंप्लीट द सेंटेन्स. मीना हू इज अन LIC ऑफिसर इज अ पेसिमिस्टिक पर्सन. पेसिमिस्टिक पर्सन इज द करेक्ट ऑप्शन. The writer was standing near Akbar Ali's, a popular department store, because she was waiting for her friend Meena. She was waiting for rain to stop. she wanted to buy something in Akbar Ali's. So second is the correct answer. She was waiting for rain to stop. The only thought in writer's mind till they reached the Grand Hotel was why the rain was not stopping, what had brought about such a change in Meena, how the beggar had changed the entire life of Meena, and second is the correct option. Meena sponsored the granddaughters of the beggar because she was alone in her life after his death. It was a token of respect for the beggar. She was rich and so she wanted to help. So out of these three options, the second one, it was a token of respect for the beggar, is a correct option. Now, look at this activity. How did the beggar change Meena's attitude? Discuss with your partner and complete the following web. Now, what we are going to complete this web and beggar's activities that changed Meena's attitude. And what were the activities? They were playing on the road. Though hungry, they were laughing and clapping. They were screaming joyously. They were completely drenched but totally happy. So all these actions of the beggar that has brought tremendous change in Meena's behavior. Find antonyms of the following words from the story. Antonyms means opposite words. Optimistic, pessimistic. Optimistic means a very happy, positive person, and pessimistic means a negative person. Drizzle, pouring. New, old. Lie, truth. Ugly, beautiful. Front, laughed. Hell, paradise. Unhappy, happy. Disrespectful, respect. Unimportant, important. So these all are the pairs of opposite words. Opposite words are also called as antonyms. Why would Meena be sad initially? Give reasons. Pick out sentences from the story which prove that Meena was a pessimist. Now, these are the sentences. She never had anything positive to say on any subject or about any person. She was forever unhappy. Meena would be pessimistic. She had the habit of complaining about anything and everything. She wasn't a very pleasant company and nobody wanted to visit her. Her gloom and cynicism had a way of spreading to others. Whenever the writer met her, she would start to feel depressed. Now, these all statements clearly states that Meena was a forever unhappy person and that was the reason that nobody used to like her. Arrange the events according to the occurrence. Fill in the number as per sequence. Now, sometimes the sentences are given in a jumbled way and you have to put them in a right way as per their occurrence in the textbook. So, I had solved this activity. How did the beggar change Meena's attitude towards life? Write it down in 5 to 6 lines. One is done for you. Only one activity I am going to explain now. The incident made Meena to look at her own life. Meena realized that she had so many comforts. Meena learned from the beggar how to be happy with life as it was. She felt ashamed of herself. She had more to be grateful for than most people could imagine. So all these things were with Meena, and that proved that told Meena that she was happier than many other people. Now we have a question of punctuation also. Here you are supposed to use proper punctuation marks and complete the sentences. In this PPT, you can see that I have made the use of punctuation marks. Now add suffix. Now what is a suffix? Suffix is added after the root word. So the root word is kind and a suffix ness is added to it. So the word has become kindness. So these are the words: kind, kindness; happy, happiness; ignore, ignorance; assure, assurance; imagine, imagination; depute, deputation; manage, management; assess, assessment. So I hope you have learned this story and you have really enjoyed this very interesting story from our textbook. So today we can decide one thing from this story, that we will always try to be happy and we will think in a positive way, because one positive thought can change our entire life. So let's decide to be happy and positive. Thank you very much.